You're live anytime.
We are live. Okay.
We are
I'll
live.
read this first if you like, and then you want to add to it.
Okay, I'm important.
So in July of 1998, the Shire of Seagirt in Kingdom of Montier became a barony. The Shire's history, so pre-1998, has been immortalized in an embroidery which is now referred to as the Seagirt Tapestry. This magnificent undertaking, which now measures, you know how long it is now? It's well over 200 feet.
Could be.
It's quite long.
It's quite
Was
long.
the brainchild of Master Cathal Sean O'Connell after he was inspired in 1984 by the embroiderer Pat Russell from England, and later that year by an article written about the Bayeux Tapestry. Now, Pat Russell was a British calligrapher, member of the Society of Scribes and Illuminators, an embroiderer with expertise in machine embroidery and applique, and a designer who created the designs for the religious vestments worn at the wedding of Prince Charles and Princess Diana. In addition, she has worked on numerous altar hangings and church tapestries. Cathal took a 5-day workshop from Russell the summer before the Seagirt Tapestry was conceived. Cathal recalled that the workshop had concentrated on shape and color in large areas with an emphasis on design and color balance. My experience in this workshop gave me the confidence to envision this kind of project, which became the Seagirt Tapestry, when I came across Mistress Janet of Arden's article in the Elfield Times. Cathal remembered. Mistress Gudrun, formerly known as Madeleine de Vos and Madeleine Incomplete, recalled at the time she was Mistress of Arts when Cathal drew on paper 40 feet of full-size designs, which he then presented at council and sold the idea to the populace. The idea sounded great, and as I was Mistress of Arts, I undertook the task of organizing the how of it. Remember, you remember that?
I made it. I had my whip and made everybody do samples.
The plan was to create an embroidery chronicling the local events and history of the Shire. They planned to mention rulers and officers in such events as the Daffodil Tournament, which we are at today, and the choosing of our defender of Seagirt. The Bitterwaters War and camping events, the Seagirt Secret Tournament, and any other event that was of significance to Seagirt. The tapestry would also record awards granted to Shire members, such as the Award of Arms, Jean de Lion, Coup de Song, as well as members in the Orders of the Pelican, the Laurel, and the Chivalry at the time. After many conferences regarding the order of events and relative importances, Cathal started drawing the first 30 pieces, followed by 3 more drawn by Eileen Falconer. The next 17 by Cathal and Kate, and later continued under the artistry of Shire member Roland. To maintain the focus for an undertaking of this magnitude and for record-keeping purposes, all aspects were channeled through Cathal and Goodwin. They were very tight in control, too. I remember that. The Shire experimented first on samplers with various yarns, suppliers, and thicknesses before deciding that the finer yarns worked best. In their chronicled account of the development of the tapestry, it was mentioned that the designers and needleworkers had thought about spinning and dyeing their own yarn. However, we were too eager to begin at that point, so didn't want to wait. Instead, they decided to purchase $30 worth of thrums, wool remnants of the weaving process. Thrums are cut from the loom and can come complete with the knot that held these threads to the loom. A waste from weaving. They are very good lengths for embroidery, but in this case, they came in limited colors, were of uneven thicknesses, and therefore weak for embroidery on our fabric. We dyed some of the yarn to expand the available range, found we had insufficient light colors thrums to make this practical. We weren't sure if we would find enough to fulfill our needs. We didn't at the time know what our needs would be. We opted for single ply wool on a cone, as is used by weavers. $96.76 of wool was purchased in the required colors. We purchased colors using the Bayou, influenced by available colors, and our preference for shades plus pink and purple for Viscount Edward and for the cow. There's a cow, we'll mention that. Plus black and gray for weapons, arms, and heraldic devices. Cathal had already found and purchased on sale for $35.40 a bolt of 100% unknown fiber for the basis of the work. Kathleen Goodwin prepared instruction sheets from Janet Arden's Elfield Times article. After they studied the returned samplers, decided what they wanted in uniform methodology, a more detailed sheet was written and given to the needleworkers. When we were doing this, when I first came on board, we were given the task of performing a sampler. And if the sampler passed muster, you were then allowed to actually work on a piece. The first samplers were handed out to experiment with yarn, stitches, and colors. It was noted in their records that later the samplers were a means for prospective needleworkers to learn the stitches and prove their skill, worthiness, and dedication to work on the tapestry. Each needleworker was then supplied with a pattern or given the freedom to design their own pattern as long as it used laid work, couching, and outline stitches.
That's only for the edges.
Yes. Most of the materials were handed out in May of 1985. Goodwin's kits for each, he prepared kits for each embroiderer consisting of a tapestry panel, design, colors marked on it, pre-measured yarn of 18 inches length, with each color bundled in groups of 50, detailed instructions and a time chart for recording the yarn used and the hours worked on the tapestry. The first phase of the embroidery work included 21 embroiderers, 7 men and 14 women. Group workshops and individual instructions enabled the needleworkers to develop what they called tricks. For example, one of the needleworkers, known as Enid, showed her co-workers how to lay the thread so they followed the curve of the ship. Another needleworker, known as Mark, he's here today, used the second layer of laid work to resemble the lashing on an SCA shield. Of course, with as many people involved and as many panels being worked on, the unexpected was bound to happen. One panel was already half complete when it was stolen from a vehicle. Wine was spilled on the tapestry at some point, and another panel was returned for Bargello stitching rather than the desired laid and couched work. However, there were some pleasant surprises too. New needleworkers came to help with the same determination of those who had started the project. A variety of designs, from simple to complex, were embroidered, and in spite of pierced fingers, sore backs, and weary eyes, there was an ever-growing sense of pride as the needleworkers one by one completed the panels and left their individual mark of initials. Exactly 1 year and 1 day after Kathleen initiated the idea, this group was able to show the populace the first results of the determination at the 12th night in 1986 in Lions Gate. They proudly dedicated the tapestry to Her Serene Highness Janeltis, who during her reign of Princess of Montier had encouraged the needleworkers.
Well done.
Your turn.
Are we going to be seeing the tapestry or?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
We start off with, first of all, you don't have this piece, do you? This is dedication piece.
This is a dedication piece to Janeltis,
So
done by me, and it took 92 hours.
this piece was given to Janelle to hang in her hospice room.
No, another one was
Oh, the
made
second
for her.
one. Second one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the beginning of the world. Seagirt arises,
Oh,
the
that's the next
wave,
one.
and the.
That's on the next piece. So on the first piece,
Oh.
here, take this.
Oh, well, maybe this was Janeltis's.
Janelle, this is a dedication piece.
You're right.
Yeah,
That
when she
was-
passed away, it was returned to us.
I didn't know that
Yeah.
part.
So here we go.
Okay. So yes, the sea rises. And we hosted a May revel on the first day of Anna Societas 12.
You'll notice on the ends here, this lists Edward and Almatea as prince and princess. This designates all the royalty that reigned at the time during the making of the tapestry, or during the time dedicated here.
Okay. The whale rises, and it is the upper and lower borders that people had freedom to do what they would like. Also, the names of those in the pictures themselves. This is Cathal Sean, who features quite predominantly in the tapestry.
There's also Brian of Faversham there.
Brian and Joan of Faversham,
And Peter Punn is there.
Peter Punn and Caradwin of
And
Gwynedd.
Mark Carey.
Mark?
It says Mark Carey.
Brian.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then the Baron of Lions.
Baron and Baroness of Lions Gate were here. And of course, whenever you travel to or from Seagirt, you have boat travel. There was a tournament in Market Square.
The initials here, MSC, is Miriella,
Of
who was
Cecily
the
Castillo.
embroiderer of the first piece.
Or this was her piece.
Yes.
This is the one she did. Manfred and Caressa were king and queen at the time. Yeah,
They were Prince Princess. We weren't a kingdom yet.
weren't they king of?
We were not a kingdom yet.
What? Oh, okay.
Caressa was never cool.
Oh, okay. Paul Dunn wins the Protector tourney, which is now Daffodil tourney.
The important note here is that Paul Aldin was actually in reality the Prince of Antir, Manfred. And since sitting royalty did not fight in Champions tournaments, he fought under an alias. This denotes the seneschal time.
It's just some small shenanigans, yes. Do we have JF and BF?
That is Joan Fabersham and Brian Fabersham getting their award of arms. These were designed with the shield and their initials, so that when later on they got their award of arms passed and were granted an award of arms, they're to be filled in with the proper design. You'll see that later on as we go along.
Everything was fine until the great fair at Cedartown. We had a Lady Godiva ride, probably 3 times daily. And at this event, one of them was given an armload of roses as well as long wigs. And she kept handing roses to the gentleman on the side of the road.
The BDN here is Bowman de Norville. This is his piece that he embroidered.
Now Oak.
Oh, and he's here today at the site, yes.
Yeah. And I think he's the one, he's the one who needleworked Lady Godiva.
Yes.
Okay. Bovert Momchilovich, lady fighter.
One of the requirements at the time, as Bowman had mentioned to me, is there had to be blue horses and yellow dogs, which you show here.
Oh, and purple cows.
Castles and chase scenes and dragons overhead. Yep.
Well, there we are. So did Bovert win that year? Is that why?
No, this is Bovert of Momchilovich, Squire Cathal John.
Okay, thank you. And they sailed to Escalia bearing gifts.
I have that one here. Bovert and Cathal showing seeds of war in Escalia, which is Alaska, with forged documents. Cathal was caught and defooted as punishment.
So they were summarily punished.
Yeah. At some point, there's the butterfly and bunny battle up here.
Up here,
That was the battlefield was rife with butterflies and bunnies that year. The initials ED are here somewhere.
Right there.
Is Enid de Bowen, and she was the embroiderer for this piece. This is where much honor the Dowager Princess herself visited Seagirt.
And of course, it's Cathal Sean who's presenting.
Yes. And at the time, Steingrim and Janeltis were Prince and Princess.
And I believe this is Cathal Sean's.
That's Cathal Sean when he got his award of arms.
Yeah. Messenger, of course, we call forth Daffodil. Mayhem ensued. And at that point, quite often during wars, there was body looting. And this is where we needed the pink and purple. This was his.
One of the things that happened at this Daffodil was there was a notorious act that happened a lot, which was body looting. And spectators would rush on the field after the battle was over and strip the bodies of some items. This is the year that Fast Eddie, so it was different, won the tournament. And that's his arms here. And now we have Alfred and Valkyrie, who are Prince and Princess.
The bands are red for Barony Sligo and Ned Stoke Coyle, who is actually Cathal Sean O'Connell. So they were married in one of the cathedrals here in town. Trelawn and Tamsin on the crowns. And
on the Bayou Tapestry, there's mention of the Halley's Comet. At the time, apparently one of the satellites fell on Salt Spring, or one of the islands. And so it was put onto the tapestry too as an homage to that.
Edward and Dorothea on the thrones.
And you've got Mark de Glockler, I think.
Yes, and Lynette Kestrel.
And Lynette Kestrel having their award of arms.
I just love that somebody made a tartan dragon up at the top. Scholastic Sky.
E1 Daffodil, yes. It's important to note that a lot of the winners are royalty or very future royalty. The one Daffodil is known you could possibly get a coronet very soon, as in Scholastic's case.
Still knowing that.
Yes, it is still known that.
Minor military action resolved by Grimly the Executioner.
This was called the Molluscan Revolution, led by Clamrad Bival Guida. Grimly was defending alone. The ninjas are invisible. You can't see them.
Yeah, so he was single-handedly,
Yeah.
ninjas are.
And this is next one is the first year that we held the Seagirt Secret Tournament. And it was secret so that nobody outside of the Shire knew this tournament was happening. In fact, when it was published in the newsletter, it was often in code. But Gerhard Kendall of Westmoreland found out about the first tournament, arrived, and won the tournament. So that's him up here, Gerhard Kendall. And Steinglum and Lenora, Prince and Princess.
And if I might move this.
Yeah, more than Prince.
Yes.
There's forevermore.
So produces 100 scrolls in 1 year. So this is probably Cathal who did bulk of the work on that one.
This one here is the Briarwood Theatre performance of My Lady Fair.
Oh, I remember that.
Prior to becoming a kingdom, Antir planned to complete the scroll backlog. To assist, Seagirt, led by Cathal, completed 100 scrolls in 1 year. One of the main reasons he was granted his laurel.
We have to go find part 2, right?
It's over there.
Part 2's over across.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna travel. Sorry, live stream. We're traveling. We're walking.
It should be.
We think it's this way.
For 5 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, you could just play the back.
This is it.
This is it. Cool. Here we are.
Pull this part up. Let's see the first part. There. This is Heiki Toshiro. And at this point, Heiki Toshiro and Ned Stowe Coyle, who was later Cathal, planned to abduct Baroness Amanda. They were unfortunately captured by Seamus, and Ned Stowe Coyle was executed by Grimly the Executioner. So we got. Oh, and he's Glennis and Malin. Remember, he went over there. They were now Prince and Princess.
And
Long bloody piece of it here. Sir Seamus, who later became Duke Thorin, he won Daffodil that year. So we can go along further. Caradwin of Gwynedd became a laurel, and Garrick the Farstein became a pelican. So these are some of the first peerages we had. And Cathal John O'Connell got the Order of the Rose Leaf, which was a West Kingdom award, because we were still part of West Kingdom. G.O.D. Not sure who that is. I'll have to look and remember. Steinger and Lenore were Prince and Princess. Then you have Alfred and Semingo were Prince and Princess. At this point here, Antir becomes a kingdom. Manfred, Rex, and Morag Regina, the first king and queen of Antir, at that first event, they elevated Cathal to the Order of the Laurel. And Heiki Toshiro was the seneschal. Wolf Wilhelm got a AA. Where's the Wolf Wilhelm? Well, that's that one there. Up there. So, EL is on here somewhere, which is Eduardo. No, that's the Elder of Arms. There should be a separate one up here, because this is his tapestry, Eduardo Lucrezia.
The current prince of the time. Is that Eduardo?
Yes, that is Eduardo. Yes, that is Eduardo. These ones here, Word of Arms. Oh, Seamus wins the Protector, Thorin, and we have in the Bitter Waters War, Seagirt lost the war in 32 seconds, and apparently that included the holds. So I'm not sure of all these. You might know some. This is Alfred Longsword, the fellow who passed away. Is that you? ML apostrophe GR. That's you? Court of Arms? And GR is so Grimly, Madra, Madeleine, and Eduardo. That's Eduardo. Oh, okay. Alfred's on there somewhere else. This is Bar the Vintner, has arms passed. Somewhere there's a BV. Bar the Vintner, BTV. Oh, here. Oh, okay, yeah. There you go. Mark 1 SST. Where's Mark?
Under the sun.
Oh, here. That's capital. Oh, yeah, that's Mark, yes. So it's actually kind of cool that you can recognize people from back then. When we're talking 40 years ago now, and some of these things, I can recognize people on it. It's amazing. There's some of the work that was done. Torgal was king at this point. Honorad was Virginia. Honorad queen. Yeah, and then of course SST marked the Gotland. We move down. And Torgal, who was king, came down and won, after he was king, won Daffodil as Torgal Bahadur. At the time, they were called the Protector, not the Defender. It's since been changed. This year, by the way, is the 44th Daffodil Tournament. Okay. Seagirt won Bitter Waters 2. So remember that first war was 32 seconds. Well, we started to get a following of people, started to build our army. Alfred and Adar were king and queen, and Seagirt beat Lionsgate, a barony. This is Alfred Longsword here somewhere. Oh, Alfred Longsword was in charge of the bar. That's him here.
Oh,
And Sigmund won SST right here. So move further down. So this is what became Clinton War, Lionsgate versus Montagnard in the early years, hence the plethora of bulls around, and the purple cow. Now that's a reference to Monty Python, is it not? But yeah, definitely had to happen. But I do remember at that event there was a cow made out of burlap on a trebuchet that was fired through the air. Didn't hit anybody. This is the first. We're going down a little further here. Yeah. Oh, Westermark Wool and the bull wins, which means Montagnard won that Clinton. Seagirt fielded a huge army at Pensick 13. Important to note, this year's Pensick 51. So that's a long time ago. You have the Rover Roast at Bitter Waters, and it led to the Kissing Bush at Ewell. This was the first appearance of the Kissing Bush. And it was a bush where you went under there with a friend and you either kissed or just talked. And it was a mostly kiss, and it was a bunch of the greenery that came down to about your waist. I loved it. It was awesome. We should have one again. And then Scalanus won Daffodil. This next one, Bitter Waters, is the wars, and this was the rain of coconuts and flying coconuts and a rain of arrows. Yeah, Thorn was king here, and on her ad queen again.
I think I see the flying arrows.
Yeah.
So we had last week when the piece came,
We had to take it apart.
we took it apart, we'll finish that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So this is the rain of arrows here. And there was still body looting, as you can tell. And the flying coconuts are here. Now, up to this point here, a lot of the warriors, you can't necessarily recognize their shields. They're very generic. You'll see later on, you start to recognize heraldry on shields. Again, the Westermark War, people went down to that. And this is when Bohemond de Norville, we know as Oak, was knighted by Beric von Longenthal and Liesel, king and queen. And that looks kind of like him in the old days, not today. At this point, you'll see Marc de Gaucker got his Jean de Leon. Somewhere around here, there's a Madeleine. Oh, there. Madeleine Incomplete got her Jean. Sir Dak Alfredson won the Defender or the Protector. Enid de Bowen got her Goot. And then we have a word of arms to Mark Shire. I have this somewhere, I think. Azara the Unimpressed. Oh, that's the AU there. Gabrielle de la Mer. And somebody else. That is not Mark de Gaucker. That's someone else. And Guillaume d'Anjou. That's this one here. Then Bitterwater's 4 happened. Seagirt won again. So Seagirt, as a tiny shire, was becoming a bit of a force on the battlefield. It wasn't. Yep. Yep. And it wasn't just our. We had a lot of mercenaries too, which helped. People liked to fight for the underdog.
We had a great time being the underdog.
So we go into the next one. Miriella, you'll see here, got her Goot up here. I'm not sure who this one is. B. So we have Hiki Toshiro got his Goot. Yes, that is the Beaver McLeaver Memorial Tournament. Yes, it was a funny weapons tourney that was held.
So you have to take the wheat home and dress it with more armor for next.
So one of the fellows that helped inspire the founding of Seagirt was Greg Collin of the Axe, somebody that Cathal met on a bus. And he gave him the idea. This was one of the days when he actually visited Seagirt and attended SST. And then on to your 12th night, Arnold Snotting Rat won SST. Right here. I remember him. That was Rufus. On to your 12th night, we had the very first viewing of the tapestry, and it was passed like a slideshow along the royalty. Was it? Not the first one? That's coming. Okay, that's the next part. That's the first viewing of the tapestry, though, outside. And it was at the coronation.
So all of this, except for the one piece, was 1 year and 1 day from conception.
Arthur and Melissa were king and queen here. Mark de Gaucker got his Goot. And you'll notice that Torgo won Daffodil. And then Cathal got his Boot de Song on the end as well. Oh, these were these first appearances of the Seagull Award.
Service.
Yeah, service, long-term service. And there's initials on them.
That might be me.
Might be, yep. I don't need TV. TV. That's up here.
Thank you, Toshiro.
Yes, probably Hero. TDB. I don't know who that one is. I'll have to look and see. Okay, that's the end of this piece.
On to part 3.
On to part 3, and we're going to need a lot of help unrolling this one.
We're going to be moving again live stream.
I wonder if we should bring it over here though, because part 3 is right where that class is.
Oh,
Their table
yeah.
is right up against.
We probably
Should we
should.
maybe grab it and bring it over here? Okay, I'm gonna drop this. And
Yeah,
help with that.
Please do. Thank you. I'm going to stand here and yeah, just watch it. Where's the mic? We still good? Cool. Just double checking. Yeah. Oh no, it's not. Sorry, I'd grab it, but the camera.
That is beautiful.
Down to the beginning.
Yeah.
Pretty spectacular.
It's better. There we go.
It's just harder when I was holding it.
You were like, this is
I appreciate it, yeah.
We're starting here.
Yeah.
This is gorgeous. Like,
Oh, yeah.
trying to get into the detail. This is amazing. The dot and then the cut, like it's just,
It is.
yeah. The detail on the people
It's
as well.
important to note also that the Seagirt Tapestry now does exceed the Bayou Tapestry in length. One of my favorite memories that I waited years to do, we visited Bayou in 2015. We went to the cathedral, we saw the tapestry, and one of the docents came out and said, "Would you like to come see our tapestry?" And we got to say, "I'm sorry, but we already got one." And they were like, "You waited years to say that, bro." Yeah,
Now, this is the,
this is Texas. Yes.
yeah. Did we say anything about Texas?
Not yet, not yet. You can go.
Well, Aunt here decided to invite all the kings and queens from all over the place to dinner, which is great. But dinner was running late. So all the kings and queens were sitting there with nothing to do, talk to each other, and somebody had the brilliant idea, why don't we do movies? So Mark took all first stood at one end with the tapestry all piled up. This must be
That's
you,
Janet.
Janet,
Yes, Governor.
and Ari, and me, and it's
That's Thornton.
no, Delane Faulkner, yeah, okay, and Torval, yes. So we held it up, and Mark and I gave commentary, and we shuffled the tapestry and piled it up here, keeping these guys entertained while they waited for dinner. It was
So after TYC, that was you finish.
the birds that
Yeah.
sang in the middle of the night.
So this was the 20th year of the society. So after that, since Seagirt warriors hastened homeward to Lionsgate at Bishop Waters War 5. My favorite part of this one, this is the first appearance of James with my arms. That is actually, you can start to see arms that are recognizable. This is Rufin the Welshman. No, that's Arnold. Yeah, that's him. This is some guy. I can't remember that one.
Oh yeah, the memory fades.
I know. This is where Barrett de Norville won SST.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Should I just pull down?
Yeah, we can do that. William of Thetford got his seagull that year, and I remember that well because he was setting up Daffodil. And when everybody went home, he stayed all night long by himself to set up Daffodil. One of the only occasions of a seagull being given for a single day's work, where he worked all through the night to set up an event himself. Thorne and Andre had King and Queen. At this point, what happened was Madeleine the cook. Madeleine got her boot song. She's important. I remember this year quite well. I just started fighting, and we couldn't decide which war we wanted to go to. So we split into two. So some of us went north to Clinton, and others went south to Ducal War. So Seagirts and armies were like mercenaries everywhere and having fun. SSTR. Like the Root in the Welshman. And that was out in Souk.
Right.
Yes, this was my first SST. I remember that one. Out in the property on the Souk River. Rufin became a sergeant of Lionsgate.
And here is Guy Fawkes.
Guy Fawkes, yeah, the Guy Fawkes event. We used to celebrate that every year. Annie de Bowen, of course, was sold to Montengort for her weight in gold. Now, that was cookies, was it not? Chocolate. And we ate that for years.
For years, it's a whole basket full of chocolate coins.
Orville was her lord, and he gave us a basket of chocolate coins in her weight. And I remember eating that for years. It was brought out, and there'd be years of chocolate.
More chocolate.
This was one of my favorite times where we actually went and did the Expo demo in 1986. So that's Expo Ernie in medieval outfit. And of course, the tapestry was there being shown. What's that? Eduardo got his jam. And Katrina got her harp. Kazi. Heike was the seneschal at the time. William of Thetford got his award of arms. 12th Night Duke's Dragon. Oh, that was the fellow who was a dry site.
Yep.
And he had a van outside full of alcohol. And people would go up to the van. It was the Duke's Dragon outside. Yeah. And of course, Eric Thorenson became the defender of Seagirt. Eduardo and Madeleine got their harp. And E.T. Emmeline Triscott.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, got her award of arms here. Isn't it amazing I can remember all these names? Mark de Gawker was seneschal.
And this is.
I have mine still.
I probably do too. We have a souvenir token.
This is called the protested Bitter Waters War. This year Lionsgate had protested, and I remember the reasons why. And the Baron and Baroness and others did not come to the Bitter Waters War. But we decided we were going to have it anyway. And Gerhard used to buy all the war tokens, and he didn't that year. So the people took sheets of dryer's felt, and they made these little painted site tokens, and I still have mine. A piece of dryer's felt amongst all the Peter tokens.
I have mine in my war body.
Yeah, I read that very well.
There was a armor hex contest.
Hey, that's yes. What's his name?
Duncan?
The Penguin. Duncan won. It was who's the Penguin? Who's he look like? You know, he's a famous cartoon penguin. I can't remember his name.
But it was a really nice.
At this, yes, it was. At this point, Duke or Eric at the time was the count. He won the crown for one of our ladies locally, Megan. That's Madison.
No.
Well, at the time she was something else, but she was Megan Fetch Madison. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. But
Oh, she was in the Beyond Time stuff. But what this is here is that Seagirt got together and made this fabulous cloak for her to wear that you see her wearing here on horseback. And the people who helped work on that cloak, their names are around the outside. You'll notice people like Cathal, Olga, Mark, Frida, Emmeline, Janet, and Eduardo. My name's not there. You know why? I was working on a different project. A bunch of us got to work on the Queen's knickers. And we worked on that, and that was our project to get recognition. It was actually so cool to have the entire Shire band together.
I made the socks.
At this point in time here, Eileen Faulkner got her Jean de Lyon. That's mine. That's my award of arms. J to T hasn't filled in yet. Someone needs to work on that. And Duncan Macquarie, we got ours at the same time at Clinton. And Eileen was apprenticed to Cathal here. Oh, and this is also the year that the Clinton Castle burnt down, the first one. And the war token, was an actual burnt castle. Duncan and William, what did they do? Oh, sergeants. So Duncan and William became sergeants this year of Lionsgate. Eduardo got his Seagull, and Barrack de Norville won SST. Seagirt Lionsgate War again. F, is it an F? Oh, it's Frederick. Frederick,
Right.
I can't remember his last name. That was, yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
Duck.
feast.
Yep.
Plucking at Catford. It was quite the process because none of us were farmers, but somebody had geese or ducks that we could dispatch. And I think this might have been our Anne following us here in the pot. And one of the ducks, you cut off the head and it, or no, yeah, oh yeah, we were waiting for it to bleed out, I think. And it lifted its head and looked at her.
Barrack de Norville won the Silver Rose for finishing second in Crown. He was a squire at the time. It's very important. Madeleine de Vos got her Gooch. She was very important at this point.
This is the Golden Swan
The Golden Swan Tournament.
persona development event in the interior of BC.
And you have
That's
that.
me, that's Janet, and Eileen.
Eileen Popper.
So there you go.
Yeah. At this point, we have seagulls given to Janet, Ari Gudluson, Sarah, I don't know her last name, Caitlin. I remember Caitlin.
Yep.
And of course, the kissing bush appeared again.
It's getting
It is. And we got more word of arms. We'd have to look through to see who those people are.
yes.
Baroness's birthday tournament, Ari became the best novice, which was a very up and coming tournament. And you had to be fighting less than a year to win the best novice in that one. And then Eduardo got his laurel. As you can see, it's actually got pearls on it. It's quite detailed. Eduardo Francesco Maria Lucrezia. And then Stangerman and Lenore, king and queen. And we,
And those ducks from before have now
Yep.
come to death.
yep, with no heads, as you see, they're bleeding. Eileen and Morgan, they got their seagulls here. And Duke Dak, one as protector. Another Bitterwater's War. This is a year that it rained a lot.
The whole time.
Yep, the whole time it flooded out. Bitterwater's War used to be held on the island of Salt Spring, hence Bitter Waters. Ari got his Jean de Leon. Barrick got another Silver Rose. And the Mucking Tall Mall for ferocity and crownless. So they were starting to wonder, this guy's going to be someone soon. That's 2 second places in a row. They had a sheep shearing at Catford.
We did. We took down the sheep and it took us hours with a pair of scissors. And now I watch the shearer here in town and he takes the whole thing in 2 minutes.
This was one of the first bitter brawls we had. Bitterwater's War was held in the spring, usually on the Easter weekend. We decided to use the same site in the summertime for a tournament fighting. It was basically brawl fighting, and it was a lot of fun. Thorn Onhead, King Queen.
We had our own persona development
The Silver Whale.
thing, Silver Whale. And this, believe it or not, is shown as Stewart. If you slur it, it kind of makes sense.
At Catford, we had the SST, and you could probably guess who this outfit is. If you look at what he's wearing. Surprise! That was my the year I won the SST. Janet became apprentice to Eduardo. James became squire to Jeffrey. And Eileen and Kaylin got their harps and Wolfgar as well. And this is when Janet and Robert got married. I remember that. Katerina and Antonio got the seagull. It's a seagull, yeah, it is. This year, Galen and James became sergeants of Lions Gate. So this one bears a lot of explanation. This was done as a joke, the way they wrote it. James, September Crown, James Shat Shield. What this is I won the award called the Shattered Shield, which is given for ferocity and best depth in Crown List. So, yeah, I did a massive, beautiful, dying performance. I got standing ovations, so that's what that was. But they thought abbreviated Shat Shield was more funny. And Barrick got the Queen's favor. There were belly dancers at our tavern that year. That's capital, isn't it? This one, Seagirt decided to do something for Lionsgate, and they built a biffy. So it was a 2-sided biffy, 2 holes, separated by a wall in the middle that had a hole cut in so you could hold hands. And someone said, after we built this, they said, wow, this is awesome, but how the heck are we going to get that to Clinton War? And we had the idea, we said, we don't have to get to Clinton War. We just have to get it to Lionsgate. They can take it to Clinton War. So it was presented to them. It has since burned down. Yes. Barrick de Norville was the first defender of Seagirt locally. That was at Bishop Andrews. Cathal took Agatha, Bronwyn, Huckbald.
This one.
Yeah, let's see. And there's another one there. Oak and Maid, it says. 2 apprentices. Eric and Megan, King and Queen again. That's Wolfgar von Rottenberg. as his ward of arms.
When we're only up to Daffodil.
And yes. Oh, look, James, they spelled that wrong, by the way. It's an O, it's supposed to be. But then tapestries are notorious for getting things wrong. James' tormentor was Seneschal that year. I remember that quite well. That was the bloodless coup. Oh, yes, the Bog War. So after a while, Bitterwater's War stopped being, and we had to find a replacement for it. So for 1 year, we had a war in Vancouver called Bog War. I remember it specifically because in the middle of the battle, there was a pause called because the ice cream truck was driven down to the main battlefield, and people stopped to have ice cream. And Kate and Kalinda were wearing siege food because the siege contest went wrong.
Went wrong.
It went wrong, and they were wearing the food.
Yeah, the siege is supposed to be to buck up your army inside.
Make what's left in the heart.
They decided to inspire the fighters by making themselves beautiful, by making themselves some masks to improve their skin. So they were wearing.
Yes. Kaylin got her harp. SST was Robert of Salisbury. Remember that? Yes. Madeleine, Elspeth, Silver Whale. Seagirt won the Pensick, we say. Arts.
Oh, right, yeah.
And so we won one of the contests, which became one of the war points that swung the war into the favor of these kingdoms. And our mercenaries won at Clinton War. We, for a lot of times at this point, we had a larger army than the two main armies at the war.
And everybody's finding out
The New Biffy, yeah. Okay. And this is important because that's the mace that you win when you become SST winner. That's the secret mace. And somebody's fighting a seagull here. Over here, Eric was finally knighted by the king and queen. I'm not quite sure who that is.
Someone very happy.
It's a lady with a Seagirt flag. And then the Great Game of Seagirt. You want to explain that one?
I don't know too much
Oh.
about the Great Game of Seagirt.
There have been several games. I've made one as well, but this one was made. It was basically a game, like a chase game, like the game of Goose, and people would come and they'd play the game of Seagirt. Or kill.
How do you play the Game of Seagirt?
I don't know. Even the one I have has you have to find the rules because the board itself is not explanatory. Torquil and Ludwiga, I remember them. Kalinda and Kate wore the siege food again. That started to become a thing.
I have a feeling that might just
Might
be
be
a
a repetition, yeah.
repetition.
Wolfgar and Huckbull were squired to Barrack, and of course another Catford fair. And Cathal drove Sir Barrack from Seagirt into the arms of Miss Lau. One of the things at the time was they were only allowed to have one pier in Seagirt. Well, that was the legend. And so every time another pier got made, somebody had to move. It was always not Cathal. This was Madeleine. Israel, yep. Classes.
I was in charge of classes.
Honor, Madeleine.
And that was on Guy Fawkes weekend too.
Yes.
Barony.
Guido was apprenticed to Cathal. He's here this weekend. And Duncan Macquarie became the seneschal. Etienne and Eduardo, apprenticed to Eduardo, yeah. And this, I know for sure fact, this was AS 23. Because the Seagirt army that year and all the supporting staff all became Roman. Everyone in Seagirt was Roman that year. And Seagirt had an army that was all Roman called VGO 23. Everybody had Roman armor, everybody had Roman shields, and we all fought with Roman weapons that year. Oh, you're wearing things.
Wearing these
Those, yeah. Her socks won at May Crown competition. EMN.
Oh, lots of histories.
It says here, yeah, Legio 23 there. SST was won by James again. I was apprenticed to Cathal and then banished. Not in the way banishments happen today. I was posted to the East Coast and I was moving in. So I went to Halifax for 2 years.
I'm gonna move the tap a bit.
Yeah, it's just time to pull back. Gunnar and Gabrielle were king and queen here. Garrick got his sergeant and was squired to Sir Darius, who's also here this weekend. This is the year, as I was posted to the East Coast, a bunch of people went with me, and we went to Pensick. And Dianara and Eduardo win Clinton. Must be the A&S point. I think it is. Yeah. Yeah. And this is, of course, Wolfgar von Rottenberg and Camelia, who got married. And Robert of Salisbury got his award of arms that he thought he would never get. And they were married at Clinton. I remember that wedding. Some of us went to Australia that year. Janet got her Jean Brillant. There was an Ithra Tavern, Guy Fawkes, Immaculate Confection. This is one of the first times it appeared. I've looked through all the Glaucuses. Immaculate Confection itself didn't appear until later on. Yeah. Duncan got his seagull, and Mouse as well got her seagull. I remember her, Sarah de Corbel. Agatha and Ari got harps, and Klaus and Garrick got the harps. It was all harps here. David and Octavia were king and queen. And this is Daffodil 13, where Ari the Butcher was there. I'm not sure why he's up there. Oh, because he was killing people.
Yeah.
But Darius won. That's Darius. And that's the end of this piece.
And I think we've probably got some more on the drawing board.
We do have. This ended in 1998, which is 16 years ago? No, 26 years ago. They are still about 8 years behind in finishing it. So they're up to about 1990 right now. But I moved to Halifax in 1990. So yeah.
You have to stop when
At 1998, it
Seagirt the
stopped.
Shire becomes a barony.
So this
So we do have an ending point in there.
this is the Seagirt Tapestry as far as we have today.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you both for doing that. That was great. I learned a lot about the barony in the meantime. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Can you pull that?
I mean, especially partners like this, I understand. Yeah.
We're done now. Good to see you. That's awesome. It's wonderful. I duct tape. Oh, line art pieces.
Going back to the north. I just got into the job and they have a peanut butter, so I don't want to just like I could just sitting it in my computer behind us. Just be like, there we go.